Hi everybody, so I told you that I would go through the benefits of fasting in a separate video, and this is that video, so let's get to it. Alright, I'm going to be looking at my handy dandy laptop because I took notes and everything, and if you want the citations to what I'm going to be talking about, they are going to be right below the video. So if you want to check it out for yourself, absolutely go for it. I think it's really important, by the way, to get your information from peer-reviewed scientific literature rather than just bro science on the internet. Ugh, it's just horrifying what's out there. Alrighty. So first thing is that fasting therapy for treating and preventing disease, current state of evidence. So that's going to be a meta-analysis of a bunch of different studies, and that's really good. Okay, now I won't be reading a whole bunch, but I am going to read this one paragraph. Well, not the whole thing, but just parts of it. So now, first of all, before I even get into this, the question is, what is fasting? That's a great question, because for some people, it will be abstaining from water and food, everything, no liquids, no nothing, and that's called dry fasting. And then you have water fasting, which is you just don't have anything but water only. Some people do broth fasting. I tend to go toward that, but I do water fast here and there. And that's where you have, some people do bone broth, which I can't advocate since I'm a vegan. I can't advocate that. But I do a veggie broth or a mushroom broth, and it's just fine. And some people say that it's calorie restriction, that's what fasting is. To me, I tend to think of it as no food, but I think that what I'm learning here through the literature is my definition doesn't matter so much. What matters is what the science says. So first of all, there's a difference between fasting and starvation. People who think that we're starving ourselves, it's not true. Fasting means that your body has gotten into a state where it is eating its fat. And that's just fine, where instead of using glucose and glycogen for energy, your body is using ketones. And that means that your body has switched to burning fat as opposed to burning carbohydrates for your energy. There is nothing wrong with doing this. What's problematic is when people go into starvation. And starvation is when your body switches out to eating its own muscles and or organs. Obviously, super dangerous. You could die. And dying might be a blessing, right? You go through all kinds of horrible stuff before you actually die. And so just be very careful. And that's why I put forth what I learned at True North Health. And you're not supposed to be fasting by yourself for longer than 5 days. Dr. Michael Clapper, he says 3 to 5 days, but that means up to 5. And anything beyond that's supposed to be supervised. So anyway, having said that, I know that's a long intro, and I get that, but I really wanted to make sure that you understand the foundation of what I'm going to be talking about before I get into it. Super important. Okay, so this first study that I'm going to put down under it's called, the title of it is Fasting Therapy for Treating and Preventing Disease, the Current State of Evidence. Now what they looked at was a period of 7 to 21 days of fasting, and how they defined fasting was consuming between 200 and 500 calories per day for that total number of days. And apparently that does amazing stuff. For me, I think I find it a little bit easier to just go without rather than 200 to 500 for so many days in a row. But hey, that's just me. You do what you want and whatever makes you happy. And apparently there are a lot of benefits here. So let's see. It's fasting that way is associated with the prevention of most chronic degenerative and chronic inflammatory diseases. That's humongous. It might be useful also to accompany treatment during chemotherapy. If you have cancer and if you're going through chemotherapy, that can help. It induces mood enhancement which is fantastic. Now, I don't remember whether this is overall mood enhancement or during your fast, because I think some of us might be thinking, well, I'm not happy during my fast, but some of us are, and you know, everybody that I've encountered so far has been really great. All right, and let's see. That some people, if they fast, that when they're not fasting, they might be now adopting a healthier diet, which will be better for them overall long term. So that's great. And let's see. It reduces oxidative stress, and it decreases signs associated with aging. And of course, it promotes autophagy. And autophagy is when your body's eating itself. But of course, we want to focus on the body eating fat and burning ketones for energy. So that's just this amazing meta-analysis. That's going to be the first thing that I put up underneath my video in the description box below. So anyway, you have that. Not only do you have mood enhancement, but I have another study here, and it talks about it having a pain relieving effect, which is interesting. It lowers IGF-1, and IGF-1 is highly correlated, and some doctors will say that it is causal factor of cancer, of so many different cancers. So if you lower your IGF-1, you're going to lower your risk of cancer. It promotes stem cell regeneration. It reverses immunosuppression, which again is just great. All these things are really great for you. It also promotes not only stem cell regeneration, but also stem cell rejuvenation. Youth, what can we do to fight aging? This is one thing we can do to fight aging. It protects stem cells against chemotherapy and aging. Again, that's another one I have. So there are several studies. Some of them overlap with the information, but I'm getting you everything that I could find. Oh, hey, this is cool. If you fast for 72 hours, then you could regenerate your entire immune system, which is one reason why I think I didn't get sick this whole last flu season, which is great. All right, y'all, I can see that my video is about ready to run out, so I'm just gonna pause and I'll get right back to you. All right, hopefully I have enough film. All right, so anyway, let's see. We have turning your immune system against cancer. That's a separate study, and I'm sure that probably has something to do, if I remember right, with the IGF-1 and probably about regenerating your immune system. But these are all, they're kind of, a lot of these studies, they sort of layer on top of each other. And in fact, a lot of these researchers, what they do is they conduct a giant study, but it's too much information to put in one paper. So they are able to create about, 5 different papers from the same research, and it's just absolutely fascinating. So this is really interesting. Okay, there's one indicating that a diet that mimics fasting, and what they're talking about there is intermittent fasting or reduced calorie intake. And a lot of the papers are coming out calling that the fasting mimicking diet. So that's what that is. May also reduce multiple sclerosis symptoms. I mean, just wow, right? Science, so great. Let's see. It enhances cognitive performance and health span. So these are just a few. I mean, I only scratched the surface when it comes to the research. These are just a few articles. And of course, if you are overweight, and if your body mass index is above 25, now this is not a perfect calculation, right? Body mass index is general, and there are certain assumptions about, how much fat you have versus how much muscle you have, and I get that. But generally speaking, the science says that if your body mass index is between 22.5 and 25, that's where the longevity is. Now, if you have a body mass index above 25, then obviously fasting can help you lose that excess fat, and that would be good. A lot of us don't do that for that reason, but that could be good for you. But that's not a full solution, because if you go back to bad eating habits, you're going to gain that right back. So there really needs to be, there have to be other factors in your life that are going to help you with that. And then the research showed that if you have a body mass index of under 22.5, that most of the deaths that were related to a smaller body mass index were related to smoking. So if you don't smoke, you have a smaller body mass index, it's nothing to really worry about. I know mine is not 22.5, it's lower. So anyway, these are just some of the great things about fasting, and it assumes that you're doing it right and that you're, you know, not being dangerous. And I did read somewhere, I can't find it, but I did read somewhere that if you exercise while you're fasting, that you waste muscle, and that is not good. Again, I can't find it. If I can find it eventually, I promise to do a separate video about that, or to add it to the links below. But just be careful, everybody, if you're doing that. And I know that Dr. Michael Clapper at True North, he did not want anybody doing exercise while they were fasting because he was worried about them passing out. And I do believe that he also was worried about muscle burning. So just be careful, or muscle wasting, that's what he called it. Anyhow, that's all I have for today. I hope this video is helpful for you. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Leave a comment or a question below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, thanks everyone. Ciao.